Hey guys, good morning. Trying to even think what day it is. I think it's Thursday. We are getting a thunderstorm, so if you hear any rain or noise, then it's just what's going on outside. It's supposed to be really warm today, and then it's getting cold, even though it's going to stop raining, so I'm not too excited about that. I thought I'd hop on real quick this morning and do a little DIY with you. I just actually did this egg with music sheets. Good morning, Tammy. And let's see, probably like 5 years ago, I covered tons of just plastic eggs with music sheets. And when I did it years ago, I used decoupage, but of course, I looked through all of my stuff and I could not find any decoupage. Now you can make like your own decoupage with Elmer's glue and you water it down. I would just Google it or look on Pinterest for whatever that ratio is. But I did find some tacky glue, although the lid was pretty much glued on and I had to use some vice grips to get it off. And then luckily I have all these random tools, and I use this little thing that I think is for upholstery, and I dug out not all of, but a lot of the dried up glue, because who knows how long it's been sitting in there, but there's still some wet stuff. I also have just a cheap watercolor brush that I can use to try and help keep my fingers a little bit cleaner, and those are just the things that I grabbed. I have not tried it with the spray adhesive, although I think that it would work fine with that as well. And then I grabbed some tissue paper that I had left over from when I covered a mannequin. And when I did the mannequin, I did use the spray adhesive, so I think you could do that on the eggs too. I'm just trapped inside and I would rather spray that outside. But I literally have bags and bags of eggs. So trying to come up with a way to put them and make them look cute in home decor. And I love music sheet wreaths, or music sheets. So I figured this is a good transformation. Now, I'm not doing it smooth and pretty. I'm just slapping it on there because these take a little bit more time than you think and your fingers get nasty. All glue. A lot of my eggs have numbers on them because when I taught class, we did things with the numbers, with the eggs. The kids came up with a little thing. So here, hopefully we can see, okay? All right, so first thing, I don't know why, but I normally just rip up the music paper. I have a bunch of old hymnals that were given to me just a long time ago, really, but I have a ton of them, so I like to use music sheets for projects, and I'm just gonna slap some glue on here. Again, this is like old glue, so it probably is not as wet and smooth as, if you had some decoupage like I've used before, or I probably could have watered this down, but I think it's half dried. And we're not supposed to be going out and about, so I just am using what I have at home. And half the time when I do a craft project, I like to just use what I have at home as well. And so on these that are decoupaged, they're a little bit crustier on the outside because I went over and I brushed the decoupage around it. This one that I just did this morning, well, one, it's still a little bit wet, but also it's just doesn't have the glue, the decoupage stuff on the outside. So your biggest thing is when you're putting your paper into place, just to try not to leave any of the colored egg showing through. I know, let's see, on some of these you can still see them popping through, like there's a little bit of pink popping through there. When you set it in a nest or on your tablescape or whatever, you're really not going to see that. So you just keep putting some glue on, adding some paper, You could do this with scrapbook paper, newspaper, literally anything you have lying around. Don't let your fingers stay in one spot for too long if they have glue on them, because they will stick and start to peel the paper off. If you get a gap, you can always just add more paper to it. And then if I have paper on top of paper and there's no glue there, just add some glue on the top of the paper to fix it. So I'm using the cheap watercolor brush because I will literally just throw it away when I'm done. And this glue will probably just get thrown away when I get done making a batch of these also. Just because I don't think the lid's gonna screw on anymore. And it's pretty much all dried up. I was gonna go in and get the kids' school glue and make my DIY decoupage, but I just figured this glue works good enough. Might as well utilize what I can. The glue's gonna dry clear, so it really doesn't matter how messy we are. Always the same situation, yeah. I should have watered it down, but I didn't think about it until I got on here. I just did one little test egg because it's been, like I said, years since I had done this project. And I'm down to only 2 eggs that are done from that batch years ago. And like I said, I thought, oh, I'll just go through and do tons of these. Now, if I was going to go through and do tons of these, what I would do is probably sit in front of the television, have a little, you know, assembly line set up so that I could just make a bunch of them as I go, and watch TV. And then it would just, I think it would be a faster process, seem faster. But I'm trying to get my craft supplies all organized, and then I can kind of assess. It's kind of like I tend to buy things in bulk, and then I wonder why the heck I did that. So I make a lot of chalk paint, and so to make the way I make chalk paint is by using plaster of Paris. So I bought this huge bag, probably like a 10-pound bag of plaster of Paris, and I am never gonna get it all used up. I have barely put a dent in the thing, but I was like, oh, if I make this a lot, I'm gonna be saving myself money by buying it in bulk. It's kind of like everybody buying food right now. They're buying food and then they're just eating more, and then needing to go to the store again. So I've been trying to explain to my kids that all the frozen stuff is off limits. They need to be eating the fresh stuff so that when we really do have an emergency and can't get to the store, we actually have food to eat. So you just keep doing this. So I'll finish this one and then we'll do one with the tissue paper. I think with the tissue paper, you could also use patterns as well. I think with that, going outside and doing some spray adhesive, I think it would go quicker. So what are you guys all doing at home today when you're stuck at home? I'm guessing most of you are stuck at home anyway. I need to finish my taxes, but you can see that I have not, I am not doing that. Maybe I'll do that this afternoon. So when I take my fingers off, if they're really tacky, I'm trying to bring them off in the same direction as the paper is going. That way the paper stays on. You can see that I've messed up a few spots because there's still purple showing. So I'm going to get some small chunks, or try to get some small chunks. And I thought there was one other spot that I was seeing purple. Here it is. Once I put glue on it, I can't see it anymore. So then I will rotate these because there's probably some glue. You don't just want to set it on a surface and leave it. You're going to want to rotate it so that as it starts getting tacky, you move it so it's not sticking to a particular surface. Okay, so let's try the tissue paper. Wipe my fingers off a little bit. I think this is a perfect color for some spring eggs anyway. So since this paper is a lot more flexible, I think I'm going to try a different technique. We're going to put glue on the paper. If the squeeze bottle, if this was watered down, it'd probably work a lot better. But you still get the idea. Hopefully it'll encourage you to try. So if you're just joining us, this glue is pretty much dried up. I'm trying to use it anyway. Okay, let's see how this goes. Probably have more paper than I have egg. This is going to go much smoother. And you would keep your hands a lot cleaner. So where it's folded, I'm going to go ahead and add some more glue now. So I think you could do tissue paper. I think patterns might be a little thin. The glue would probably come through too much. But I think you could easily hammer out a whole bunch of tissue paper eggs by painting the paper and then doing it. So you got that one and that one. Well, what do you guys think? Amber says, I train horses, so work hasn't changed so far. Hoping to start painting a table for my oldest son as well. Yeah, my work hasn't changed very much either. And there's the camera. I was going to scroll through the comments. Just another day for me, painting something. Yeah, it's one of those things that with my job, it's pretty much been the same as well. Since I transitioned more online instead of having the physical store. So I do feel like that has been a plus. And then my husband's a principal, and he's definitely had a different time, but our school district, I feel like, was very prepared for this. They've been having meetings for, oh, the heater kicked on. They've been having meetings for a long time, game planning how we would handle it if something happened, if school closed, or if we just had a ton of people sick, and, you know, because we already struggle having subs anyway. So just kind of transitioning the kids and the teachers to online learning. But I really think that for the most part, it has gone smoothly. If anything, kind of like my kids have said, they're going to have probably the hardest time is just not physically seeing their friends for a while. Because I can't imagine if you were an only child, you know, at least my kids can still fight with each other and play games if they want to. They've been farming a lot with Grandpa. Cash wrecked his bike yesterday, so he's not going to have a bike to ride for 4 weeks because he bent the rim all up. So unless Grandpa's prepared to fix that. But I think they've been staying busy so far. It's kind of like when you first have summer. It's not bad until later. Oh, darn it. So tissue paper is definitely my favorite. So I'll probably hammer out more tissue paper ones than music sheets. All right, well, if you do this project, I would love to see what you end up doing. So definitely share it with me. You can post it in the comment, or you can send it to me directly. And other than that, have a great day.